Hello, everybody, and welcome to the True Love Talk channel. Here we want to learn about human sexuality and love based on the teachings that Pope John Paul II left in the theology of the body. I am Elisa, and today we're starting our topic on the dignity of women, analyzing the letter Mulieris Dignitatem that Pope John Paul II wrote. So let's begin. So the letter Mulieris Dignitatem was written by Pope John Paul II on 1988 on occasion of the Marian year. And the first thing that we can ask ourselves is it worth talking or thinking, analyzing about the dignity of women? And it definitely is worth it because historically, everywhere in the world, in every culture, in every time, women have been denied their dignity, with exception of the Western world, and that only started the Western world only started thinking about the dignity of women with the feminist movement that started at the end of the 19th century, the beginning of the 20th, right? But before that, and in of every other culture, women have been denied their dignity. So, feminism arises as a way of answering or as a way of fighting for the equality and dignity of women in front of men. And here the question is, did they manage that? I mean, did they achieve this objective, this very good objective that they had set for themselves? And the answer is yes and no. I mean, in some ways it did, and in some ways it didn't. It did because it definitely opened a way of equality, opened up equality in the workplace, education and in politics for women, to the point that today Western men understand women as their equals. They would never say that they are superior to women, and those few men who still think that they are superior to women would not dare say it out loud, right? So yes, the fight for the dignity and equality of women has given very substantial and very important paces forward, right? Steps forward. But there is also some parts of feminism that are not so good for women themselves. The first thing that happened is that feminism became or created a covenant, an alliance with the sexual revolution, right? And the objective of the sexual revolution is to free the sexual act, right? Coitus, the genitality, from marriage. And that means that the sexual act does not have to be ethical, it just has to be actually an act of pleasure and fun. That's all it is. And it also breaks the link between the sexual act and reproduction, right? So when feminism allied itself with the sexual revolution, basically they started stating that uh, marriage is a way of oppression towards women, which, if we analyze history, does not make sense because regardless of the culture or the time, even in polygamic cultures in which marriages are usually arranged, even then, when a man marries a woman, he stands in front of her and tells her, "You are my life companion, and you have the same dignity that I have, and everything I have is yours. So my house is yours, and my sheep are yours, and my children are yours, and my car is yours. Everything is yours. You are going to be seen as my equal." That's basically what it says. So when feminism started saying that marriage was a way of oppression, basically what it did is create this logic of us versus them, right? In telling women that they shouldn't trust men as their their life companions, right? They shouldn't trust or create covenants and lives together with men because men are there to oppress them. So basically men became that evil kind of person and the difference between them, between us, right, between men and women, can never be fully healed, right, or fully overcome. The second problem is that feminism has is based on social constructionism, and social constructionism basically states that reality is a construction, right, something that we human beings built in society. So basically, reality is something that we humans create democratically. And like Protagoras, then we humans become the measure of all things. And we create everything, including ourselves, including femininity. And so the femininity that is being created by feminism is not so much a femininity that is rooted in human nature, right? Especially in the nature of women, but is more of a femininity that is created according to what we like most, and it becomes very banal and very superficial, to the point that femininity is usually associated with things such as wearing makeup and wearing skirts, right? Women are the people that wear pumps, and that's it. But apart from that, women are exactly the same as men. And that is a way of maintaining the sexist logic, because in the sexist logic, only men are worthy, and women are worthy because basically they are men, but without a penis and with big pumps. That's it. See, that's the only difference. So to this, Pope John Paul II answers, there is more. The difference between men and women is ontological, and so is women's dignity. And when we talk about ontology, basically ontology or metaphysics, which is exactly the same science, is the science of the being. When we say that something is ontological, it means that it comes from what the thing is in itself, not from what we think or if we recognize it or if it has some political power. It's because things are how they are. Pope John Paul II would say the dignity of women is ontological. It was given to women by God Himself when He created men as men and women. Okay? Actually, in Spanish is a little bit more clear because men can translate in two ways, as hombre, which is a human, or varón, which is a male human being, right? So human beings have two essential ways of being, either male or female. And this is something that God created Himself at the beginning. So actually, when the Bible says that God created men in His image, male and female, that man, that word man is understood as hombre, o sea, as human, right? Not as varón, not as a male human, but as human beings. And that means that difference let us understand that God created men and women with the same dignity. They have the same dignity, even though they are different ways of being human, and therefore they're not exactly the same, right? Not being identical doesn't mean that we are that somehow one has more dignity than the other. Actually, what it means is we both have the same dignity. It's just that we are here to cooperate with one another, right? To complement each other so that we each have the best life possible. So, saying that the only difference is that we women are far more superficial and we care about our appearance more, or that and that's the only difference, that there's nothing else, and especially nothing to do with bearing children or the relationship we or the way we think, the way we feel, the way we understand things, then we are denying a big part of femininity. So Pope John Paul II in Mulieris Dignitatem starts thinking about femininity from the perspective of Our Ladies, right? Virgin Mary is the co-redeemer. She was the person who helped God, who helped Jesus redeemed us, to die on the cross for us, helped him get there, and she was the one who defeated hell. She is the person who fulfilled that promise of redemption that God made to us the moment we sinned, because we were promised to be redeemed the moment we fell, the moment that God realized that we had eaten from the fruit of good and evil. That was the moment when he turned to the serpent and said, "The woman will be your enemy. She will hurt you in the head while you try to hurt her in the on the heel, in the heel, right?" And the woman that God is talking about, that will defeat hell and sin and Satan, everybody, right? All of these evil people who screwed us over, is Mary. So Pope John Paul II is going to dedicate this letter to the figure of Virgin Mary and to analyze from her, because she is the truest human being, right? The purest human being, the one that fulfills every plan that God has for humans in general and for her in particular, but she does it as a woman. So she is the true example of femininity. And this is what this series is going to be about. We're going to talk about femininity and the essence of women and the dignity of women from the perspective of the job that Virgin Mary did for all of us, not just for God. Yes, she was working for God and she helped him, but God was working for us, so she helped us all. And this is what we're going to analyze on this series. I hope you stay tuned, and as always, I'm very glad to see that you decided to stay until the end of the video. If you have any question, any comment, please write it in the comment section below, and I will try to answer it as soon as possible. So I'm very glad to see you here, and have a nice day. Lots of blessings for everybody. Bye.